history segment. So, today I wanted to talk about witchcraft. And so, people were accused of witchcraft in colonial Massachusetts between February 1692 and May 1693. Now, witchcraft started because people were accusing other people of having the devil come inside of them, and they were tested by a lot of different things. So they were tested by, if you went into the water and you drowned, you weren't a witch. But if you went in the water and you were alive, you'd be dead. So it's kind of like a lose-lose situation. So a lot of people thought that you were attacked by the devil, and they would send you to trial, and you'd be on trial for witchcraft. And a lot of people would say that they saw you doing different things, but you didn't actually do that. So they basically say they didn't like someone, they could be like, oh, they were doing a witchy kind of thing, and they were sent to trial. Now, a lot of people died, and it was hard because if they couldn't really come up with a good, situation on saying that they didn't do it. Like, you didn't have to do it to be counted as a witch. So, people were sent to trial, and a lot of them were hung to death because they were accused of being a witch. And a lot of people also were killed, and not even just hung, but just killed because they were accused of being a witch. And a lot of people tried to said that they were, but that didn't help it at all because, again, that was a lose-lose situation. So I think it was one priest had died because of him thinking that witchcraft was wrong, and I think it's very wrong. And a lot of people thought that you were doing potions, and they didn't have to see you do it, but they said that they saw it, and it doesn't have to be true, but a lot of people believed in that, so it was true to a lot of people. So, black cats also were a sign of the devil, and they would kill cats. If children were accused of being witches, they would be dead. Men, women, they would kill them, but a few of them were found unguilty, which was good, but a lot of them were found guilty and were sent to death. Okay. Welcome back to another one of my American history segments. You may know that the Pilgrims left England to Plymouth, but why? They left for religious freedom. They gathered a group of separatists with them, and they left on the Mayflower. At first, they were going to Jamestown, but then they thought that the people who lived in Jamestown, the colonists there, wouldn't like them because of their religious beliefs. So they went to Plymouth. When they got to Plymouth, almost half of the people had died because the winter was so hard. The first winter, which they called it, it was very hard for them, and a lot of them died. They weren't ready for all of this impact. So, luckily, the Wampanoag tribe was there to help. So, after that first winter, the Wampanoag helped them, and they taught them to fish and do a lot of different things. Because the people who lived in England didn't usually do this stuff. They had people do that for them. So, it was due to them by fishing and planting the Indian corn, which was a big thing also. So, luckily, they had a lot of food for the next winter, and they wanted to celebrate with a harvest festival. So what they did was they got all their food together, and they thanked the Indians by inviting them. So Massasoit was the leader of that tribe, of the Wampanoag tribe. And what they did was they had a big harvest festival, which was basically the first Thanksgiving. So in the first Thanksgiving, they were so happy that they had enough food for the next winter and that they wouldn't starve like the first winter. And the Indian tribe was there, and the Indians sat on floors and stuff, and they had wooden planks for tables. And the Indians practiced their own kind of spiritual beliefs, and the English had practiced their religious beliefs. So luckily, if the Wampanoag hadn't been there to help them, that we wouldn't have had our first Thanksgiving. Well, there wouldn't have been a first Thanksgiving, and we wouldn't have Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. Hi again. This is Abigail's American History segments. So, today I wanted to talk about King Philip's War. So you may know that Massasoit had signed a peace treaty with the Pilgrims that lasted over 50 years. But Massasoit's son, Metacomet, had been very mad at the Pilgrims. The English were taking up way too much land, and that's not what they had said. That's not what they had promised. So Metacomet had gotten up his whole tribe and made a plan that they would have a war because the English were breaking their promises. Now, Massasoit was good friends with the Pilgrims, but now that a lot of things had changed, where a lot of people had known about the New Worlds, people were coming in and taking way too much land. So Metacomet had this war with the Englishmen, and the Pilgrims had called it King Philip's War because that's what they had called Metacomet. And they called Metacomet's English name was Philip, but they were basically mocking him by saying he was the king. He was King Philip. So that was called King Phillip War, and it lasted a little over 2 years. So, with that being said, now if you didn't know this, you know that Metacomet was Massasoit's son and did not like the Pilgrims. So Metacomet basically had some conflict with them, and Massasoit was good friends. So they were a little different with the Pilgrims, but I think it's because time passed and a lot of people are hearing more about the New World, so they're coming. And that's it. Thank you for watching.